All right, so we're here virtually at this year's ASCRS meeting with Nancy Lurker, who is President and CEO of Eyepoint Pharmaceuticals, as well as Dr. Dario, who is the Chief Medical Officer. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we just wanted to take an opportunity here in this unusual situation we find ourselves in this year and have a kind of a virtual in-booth talk or discussion. And so first, how is everyone at Eyepoint? Is everybody doing okay? Have you changed the way you're doing business, your operations, remote, or anything like that?
Yeah, hi Cheryl, and hi to all of your attendees. We have actually, as you can imagine, during the pandemic, so I'm really proud of what the team has done because we produce YUTIQ in particular, which is our drug for uveitis, but we also quality assure and quality control DEXACU, which is our drug for post-cataract surgery. Those two products, we have essential workers going in and continuing to produce and quality check those products. So our team is engaged. In addition, the R&D team continues to work on our pipeline, which we'll briefly mention. So in that part of the company, it's almost a full team effort. Now we're doing all the normal precautions, wearing masks and social distancing, and we are on a rotating schedule, which I do believe that's going to be probably around for us for quite a while. Though we may slowly bring more workers back over time, we've been remotely working, and so far I think a lot of us have found that it's working quite well. So there is a lot of change. You can imagine for DEXACU as a cataract surgery drug, it has slowed dramatically as cataract surgeries have slowed dramatically, being elective procedures. And so as a result, we are waiting optimistically for when that slowly starts to open back up again. We do know it's going to take time just because of all the protective measures that need to be put in place to ensure staff, patients are safe while they undergo these procedures. In addition, we do believe that DEXACU in particular will be potentially more of interest to physicians and patients as we open back up, because it can minimize the use of touching your face versus putting in steroid eye drops, and also minimize trips to the pharmacy, and potentially, again, I'm going to say, minimize the need for an in-person visit versus perhaps a telemedicine visit. And what we're hearing is that doctors find this very compelling, and I think patients will as well. As you may recall, DEXACU is administered at the very end of cataract surgery as a single intracameral injection, and then it lasts for up to 22 days. So we're pretty optimistic about its continued uptake in the marketplace, and particularly dealing in a post-pandemic world.
Okay.
We also have, I'll just briefly mention YUTIQ, which is for posterior segment uveitis, not as pertinent to your ASCRS audience, but that product has continued to show some utilization, obviously, because uveitis is a blinding disease. And again, since the 3-year implant, it gives patients and doctors some sense of security knowing that they've got a 3-year treatment in their eye versus having to come in every month or every other month or maybe even every 3 months for an injection, potentially. So with that, I'm actually going to turn it over to Dr. Dario, who's our Chief Medical Officer, because we do have some exciting presentations at ASCRS.
Sure.
Thank you very much, and I'm very pleased to be here and talking to you today. Yeah, this is going to be very interesting, a virtual meeting at ASCRS, and but we, were able to find a number of spots for presentation. We have about 8 presentations on DEXACU, and they really reflect the great experience that an expanded experience since we launched the product last year. On this product, I mean, the product is so innovative that it got a lot of attention, and I think because of the way it is delivered is also very important that we provided education about the injection procedure, and I think we made a significant progress in the last 9-12 months, and I think since the launch last year and early this year, we were able to collect real world experience on this product, which is very from a number of clinical experts and practitioners. And I think it's great because we were able to essentially present data on a retrospective case analysis, and many of the data you'll see are either part of investigational initiated research or again sponsored retrospective analysis. And so we're quite excited about the really the visibility and the ability to share this data with the participants in the conference. We start on Saturday with an injection technique for DEXACU that is presented by Dr. John Ovanesian, and that will be followed also early in the morning around 9 o'clock with the retrospective case data analysis presented by Dr. Robert Weinstock, and other colleagues. It's interesting. Those are the two of the clinicians who have been very instrumental and helpful to us and to the community to really understand the best practices when it comes to delivering the product. And so the injection technique evolved over time. We started with a placement behind the iris and then evolved over time with the modification of that particular technique from sweeping to quick pull, what we call. And so, and eventually we expanded also to other options. And most importantly, I want to highlight the placement in the capsular bag of the product, which has certainly advantages. Again, we're not recommending one or the other necessarily, but I think it's great to have, again, shared experience about this product in the way it's delivered in the eye, which I think is very important, obviously. It's very unique about this product. So other presentation, again, we have posters as well. And I think this will cover, again, a real world experience in a patient population that's broader than what we actually investigated during the clinical development. And so you go from, presentation on the dry eye, for example, patients by Dr. Sanjay Rao, to other, patient-reported outcomes. So it's obviously important, to deliver a product that obviously in most of the cases would not require, again, topical installation of steroids. At the same time, we also want to investigate from a patient perspective, what are the advantages of doing that, and the level of satisfaction that they express versus more conventional ways, again, topical eye drops to really treat their inflammation in the postoperative time course. So those are the things that I wanted to highlight. And again, real world experience in essence from a number of clinicians and experts in this field, including, I want to mention also Dr. Cynthia Matosian, Dr. Kathleen McCabe. I mentioned already Dr. Sanjay Rao and Dr. Ovanesian. And these are really the highlights. Will be interesting to hear from them. And I probably should also mention, finally, just one more, Dr. Michael Seidel from California. He will also talk about the evolution of the administration technique and for DEXACU.
We do believe that our injection technique has improved significantly. So though we say that we're not advocating one over the other, but there are clearly differences. And we do believe our injection technique has improved and that clinicians will find it much easier to use than when we first came out. And it was a learning for us because we did not develop this drug ourselves. Mm-hmm. And as we've gone through the last 12 months on the market, we've clearly learned much better ways to deliver the drug. So I think you'll see that the clinicians will find a better opportunity for that. And in addition, we're pretty pleased with the real world data. We can't go into specifics, but it's very positive. I think the guests will find it very exciting in terms of what's actually being seen. And then as Dario mentioned, the one looking at patient satisfaction, and you can imagine that, generally it would be as you would expect, that if you don't have to put eye drops in your eye, or at least a steroid eye drop in your eye, there's a lot of advantages to that. Not to mention, and this was done pre-pandemic, but now post-pandemic, patients and caregivers not having to deal with the ocular fluids and touching around the eye, which they now know is a gateway into potential COVID infection. So it is important that we take that into account as we're looking at how to best treat patients.
Well, it sounds like a great lineup of presentations for sure, and we all look forward to hearing more and seeing more about that this weekend. And also, just as ophthalmology prepares to reopen, some practices have reopened. Is there a re-entry message that you have from the perspective of your company, how you're helping companies or ophthalmologists even return back to the practice of ophthalmology?
Well, I think first of all and foremost, our job is to respect what the cataract surgeons and retinal physicians need, because more than anything, we will be there for you. And in some cases right now, I know they don't want to see, rightfully so, the representatives in their offices or their surgical suites, which we fully appreciate. So we will be there for you in whatever way you need. We've extended our dating terms to help financially. And then, of course, whether it's virtual seminars, virtual training, virtual information, we'll be as flexible as we can to meet your needs as you start to ramp up, and making sure our reps are, where needed, tested so that they're safe, but they're safe as well for your patients.